Prostate cancer is a common cancer worldwide among men. It's actually the second most common cancer among all cancer cases, according to a lot of sources. It often occurs after age 50, and oftentimes it's fairly treatable if it's caught early. There's different treatments for it, and it basically occurs around the urethra or reproductive tissues around the urethra, just below the bladder. Most of the prostate cancers are pretty slow growing, so they take years and years to grow. I've heard of a lot of cases where some men get old into their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s and have prostate cancer and not know it. I've heard of some people in their 90s. When they died, they looked at the dead body or looked at the body and they were found to have prostate cancer. I guess it affects different people in different ways. I'm here to look at a new advancement in treating prostate cancer. It's very encouraging. Now, prostate cancer is difficult to treat once it gets into the metastasis stage. That's when it starts to spread throughout the body. Usually in the case of prostate cancer, the metastasis stage, they tend to go into the bone. And that's very difficult to treat, and that gets very complicated, and that's not the stage you want to get to. It's said that it occurs in 1 out of every 8 men, and is expected to take more lives in the near future. But again, with this encouraging advancement, we may see better results. That said, I know people that I know of people that say they have lived with prostate cancer a long time. I guess with any cancer now, it's possible. It's not always a death sentence. It's possible that people do fight cancer for several decades. So you shouldn't always take cancer as a death sentence. It is very serious and very deadly, but at the same time, you can be cured, and there are people who actually fight it. If you're fighting it for decades, let's say you live to 85 and you fought cancer for 30, 40 years. This happens with a lot of people. So in reality, did you really die from cancer? If you actually lived to 85, or it may have contributed to your death, yes, but would you have lived to 85 anyway? And maybe you would have died at 85 anyway? I'm just saying in certain scenarios where people fight this cancer for several decades, maybe 75 years old, in their 80s. It's just, there's not a really one size fits all sometimes. There are people that do survive, some people that don't, depending on how early they catch it and how their body responds. We're all different, we're all made different. But this new treatment, again, it looks very promising. It basically zaps all the cancer cells. It's like a new approach where there's a compound. It's hard to pronounce this compound. It's actually the treatment is called lutetium 177 PSMA 617. It's like a really long name. It's called lutetium LUTETIUM. Look this up. Lutetium 177 PSMA 617. And this approach is basically straightforward. It basically hones in on a protein, and that protein is carried only by the prostate cancer cells, right? So this compound, once it's basically shot out through radiation, or the radiation is used to carry this compound, it focuses, or it kind of sniffs out the prostate cancer cells through this protein, because only the prostate cancer cells carry this protein. So it's kind of like a smart bomb in a sense, or maybe this is not the best analogy, but like the laser target on the gun. And the laser that's used to find the target with a gun. So this compound, it basically sniffs out the protein, and the protein is carried by prostate cancer cells. So these cells are basically destroyed once this compound has identified them, and the radiation basically kills those specific cells while sparing all the healthy cells. So at this time, the radiation doesn't only kill, like, doesn't always include the healthy cells that sometimes suffer with cancer treatment and radiation. So this, I think, is a very, very good breakthrough. To me, I think, I don't know if they could use the same concept. Maybe, again, I'm not a doctor or I'm not a biomedical scientist, but I'm trying to understand the concept. What if I'm sure there's research where they apply the same concept to other forms of cancer. Maybe there's a specific chemical, specific protein, specific, I don't know, specific compound, again, that's carried by certain cancer cells, and maybe they can use other materials that kind of attracted to these elements that are carried by the cancer cells, right? And then again, you can focus on your target, only focus on taking out the cancer cells while leaving the other tissue there. I wonder if this can be, how many different cancers can the same concept be applied to? I'd like to look that up. I'll probably look that up when I get time. I'm sure somebody has an answer out there somewhere. I'm sure several people do in the comments. But I think this is a great breakthrough. I'm encouraged. I don't have prostate cancer, but I'm saying in the future, right? I'm encouraged for just guys in general, right, who may or may not develop prostate cancer. At least there looks like a promising treatment for this, provided it's caught early. Or I don't even know how late the stage gets. It doesn't say. From what I read, I didn't read anything about the metastasis stage as far as treating the prostate cancer. But this is a large advancement that has been accomplished with this new treatment. Again, it's called lutetium-177 PSMA 617, and the method uses this compound. It focuses on a protein found exclusively in prostate cancer, and then it basically kills those cells. This was a study that was investigated by Tulane Cancer Center in New Orleans, so you might want to look up more detail on that. It uses a radioactive particle carried by the compound and blasts the cells. So I think they give an extensive explanation of how this works. I think maybe I confused you, I don't know. But take a look at it. I think it's great news. And let me know what you think in the comments. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you very much for listening.